The thing I think we have to understand about the ideology is that it's not about supporting the person in the oppressed group. It's about supporting the person in the oppressed group who supports the ideology. So it's really empowering the ideology, not empowering the human being. So there are certain ways which I think that we can say that most of the people we know who are being caught up in this movement, including, a lot of Christians, I talked to a lot of Catholics and Christians who feel that, well, Christ would have fought side by side with people for racial justice, or he would have fought against, lecherous men and for women who want to feel that they have true dignity and aren't instruments of someone else's pleasure. Absolutely. There's nothing those are true Christian precepts, and Christ would have certainly been on the side of justice in those matters. But the thing that ideology does is it's really a true to form ideology in that it takes partial truths and totalizes them. And in that totalization, it presents something that is a lie, fundamentally, because it creates the only way to look at the world is through this lens of power and domination. And what it does is it fundamentally defines a human person differently than what the Christian vision of what a human person is. The Christian vision of the human person is that we're defined on universals. We're rational animals, just based on Aristotelian logic. But also, through special revelation, we know that we are called to be sons and daughters of a loving Father, that we are defined in relationship to God. We're defined by love itself, love himself. The woke define a person very differently and incompatibly. So for the woke, the person is not defined by the love of God, but by the hatred of society. That in our very definition is where we sit on the line of the evil of society. So for example, to be a woman is not just to be a woman in any sort of traditional sense, that there's a bodily meaning there and there's some certain spiritual symbolism. But to be a woman for the woke is to be fundamentally fighting the oppression that's at the core of your being. For example, in 2017, there was the first Women's March, and there was a group of pro-life feminists who were co-sponsoring the march. And when the organizers got wind that they were pro-life, they said, oh, well, you can march with us, but you cannot have any official affiliation with us. And they were confused. They said, but we support, the dignity of women. We want to fight for similar goals. We overlap in certain areas. And this is not just a pro-abortion march, it's a pro-women's march. But the thing I think we have to understand about the ideology is that it's not about supporting the person in the oppressed group. It's about supporting the person in the oppressed group who supports the ideology. So it's really empowering the ideology, not empowering the human being. So it's not enough to be a woman. You have to be an ideological woman. You have to be a politicized woman. We hear the same thing echoed with Nicole Hannah-Jones, the author of the 1619 Project, who famously said, we all know there's a difference between being racially Black and being politically Black, that it's simply not enough to be a Black person. You have to be supporting our agenda in order to be considered. So it's not actually about diversity, it's about uniformity of thought, but with different people, representatives of different groups, embracing and affirming that uniformity of thought.